Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at a Gizmo Labs that looks at natural selection. So I feel like everyone knows the process of natural selection, but not exactly what it looks like in practice. So we have a lab that we can test this with. It's a really fun lab, so I'll just be doing a couple of trials and then I'll be posting a lab assignment down below that you can follow through with. Okay, so let's think about the peppered moth. The peppered moth is a common moth found in Europe. It's also called the Biston betullaria in its scientific term. It's also found in Asia and North America, and it's usually found in two forms or morphs, a dark morph and a light speckled morph. And so the birds are often a predator of the peppered moth, and if you think about it, they're obviously the white ones are going to be harder to find on the light trunk, and the black ones are going to be harder to find in the dark tree trunks. And so we're going to be looking at a natural selection lab to look at the population of the different moths as it lives across different tree trunks. So without further ado, let's try playing this game. So you can press play. Oh, here we go. So the original population is 20 and 20 for both. And then if you look very carefully, there are some moths all over. Once you've found them all in one tree, you can just click the next tree and then keep finding them. Your goal is to find the most possible. So if you scan and you're not seeing anything, feel free to move on. Ooh, nice, we got all 4. And then the year is over. That was year 1. And if you look to the right, you can see the current number of moths. You see that we have 12 dark moths right now and 13 in the next year. And after the year is over, they're going to go through a reproduction process where the dark moth give birth to more dark moth and the light moth give birth to more light moth. So let's look in the next year. Press play. 3, 2, 1. At the start we have 19 dark moths and 21 light moths because again they gave birth to the population, and you can tell that the difference is widening a bit as the years go on, as this year hopefully will also demonstrate. So, ooh, I got a lot of them. The white ones are definitely harder to tell. Okay, so after year 3, we have 9 dark moths and 16 light moths. That's so interesting. I think that the dark moths are very much easier to get, and so their population is decreasing a lot faster. Let's go to the next year. Year 3. Now that they've reproduced, we have 14 dark moths and 26 light moths. Let's see how this year goes. Awesome. So I see a couple of white moths here and there. My eyesight is not very good, so if you see them, I apologize. Oh, these are so hard to find. Where are they? Oh. Okay, the year is over and we have 6 dark moths and 18 light moths. And then after the year, we're going to have 10 dark moths and 30 light moths after they reproduced, and then the years have gone by. Let's start again. This is one of the best labs out there because it's so fun. You can kind of get the feeling of becoming a bird, in a sense, I suppose. It's like the choices that birds make as they go on hunting. They're like, okay, which place do I go to and which moth do I eat? And yeah, they have some fun tools here, although I didn't mean to click them. And we have 3 dark moths left and 24 light moths left. And this is again because the dark moths are so much easier to find in this white background, as you may notice if you play it yourself. Okay, so let's press play again and then start another year. We start off with 4 and 36, so that's 10% and 90%. The population difference from 50-50 has dramatically differed. And so, okay, I can't really find them now. This is so much harder. I really gotta look. It's very much harder. I don't know if you'll be able to tell that I'm catching them, but after this year we have 4 dark moths and 22 light moths. Okay, after the year 5, you may notice that the total ended up becoming very, very different from the 50-50% ratio that we originally have, with 15% of dark moths and flaming 85% of light moths, you can tell that camouflage, or the blending of colors or patterns that helps an organism's with blend in with the background, is really playing a large role for reducing predator access to the light moths. Now let's try the dark moths. This will give you a very similar situation with you starting off with 2020, so 50 and 50% ratio, and then finding that the light moths are just so much easier to catch. And so year after year, you're going to be noticing that the white moth population is decreasing while the black moth population increases more sharply. Now you may be thinking, well, I can technically see all the black moths, but if you think about it, if you're a bird who has very bad eyesight, first of all, and also not a lot of time, you gotta be economic with your choices. You gotta think, which color will I most easily see? Which one do I fail the least in? And with a bird that's flying around and always scared that the moth might escape, you might always go for the darker, or in this case, lighter moth. And so that over the 5 years will result in a very dramatic ratio of the population. And you can also tell that the process of reproduction is also making a big significant change. And another thing to have in mind is the nuance between the light and dark trees. So the reason that the trees turn from primarily light to primarily dark in these days is, and especially in England, it was because of the 19th century Industrial Revolution. With a lot of the industries using coal for their energy, the air was polluted with a lot of black soot. And so the forests near the factories were soot coated. And so they turned the trees darker. And this caused a different population for the moths. And this kind of explains to you the process of natural selection, which is the process by which favorable traits, or traits that best blend in with your surroundings and or give you more access to food or shelter or sunlight, for instance. Natural selection is the process by which these traits tend to increase in frequency over time. And you can see this because even as the individual moths are not changing color, like you never see the black moths turning white or the white moths turning black, you know that as time goes on, the animals with the better traits to survive will survive more and will have the higher likelihood to pass on their genes. And so if we look in the long term, the moth population will be primarily what is best fit to survive in the given habitat. And you can again do this with the lab document down below. I think this is really a fun exercise to do yourself, to kind of practically understand how the process of natural selection works and think about the impact that human beings may be having on the environment. That's some food for thought for you. I'm so honored to be able to share this with you, and I will see you next time. Please comment any questions and any results that you see that are interesting or fascinating to you. Bye-bye.